Well, hello, Lisa. This is Sharen on the West Coast.
Hi, Sharen. This is Lisa on the East Coast. How are you today?
I am just wonderful. And yourself?
You know what? I'm excellent today. Thank you. I am excellent. I had just decided that I'm going to be excellent. I claim it, and it's true.
Yes, exactly. That's what you have to do some days.
Yes, ma'am.
And hold on to it.
Yeah, it's not.
So if you have dropped in right now, you have dropped in on Coast to Coast Beauty. And what that is with Lisa on the East Coast and me on the West Coast. That makes
we are Coast to Coast Beauty.
That's right. And today we are talking about, let me take that off. Trying to jump that down. What we are talking about today is helping women heal.
Yes. As a matter of fact, this month, April, is National Women Helping Women Heal Month, even though some men can help too.
Yeah. Some good men are always in order.
Always welcome and always appreciated. Yeah.
Definitely. You know, what I like about this, Lisa, is that they break it into weeks.
Mm-hmm.
You notice that you shared a paper with me and I was like going through it and I'm like, wow, I like that concept of breaking it down into weeks. And so I thought we could just talk about the first 2 weeks and then we're right in the last day of the third week, which is why I'm wearing my little money pin.
Where's my money pin? I have one too.
So yeah. The week is, what is the first week? The first week is, come on. Faith. Yeah, it's faith. I'm trying to get it to come up. I'm trying to use our agenda.
Those are always helpful, especially if you follow them.
Yes. But you know us.
We will get off track and off agenda in a hurry.
In a minute.
But it's okay.
It was started in February 2015 by Nicole Hoffman.
Mm-hmm.
The purpose of this special time is to focus on helping women heal in the following areas, which is, we just said, faith, family, finances. Ooh, help me.
And freedom.
And freedom from abuse.
Freedom from abuse. Okay, so all of those F's. So the first week is faith. The first week of April is faith. The second week of April is family. The third week of April is finances, hence your pin. And then next week, the fourth week of April, will be freedom from abuse, past abuse. Mm-hmm. And right. I like the fact that they said that, freedom from past abuse. And when we get to that part, I'll say why.
Okay. So let's touch on the first two really quickly, which is faith and family. And so, of course, faith you have in yourself and it's to make healthy life choices. Faith that is outside of yourself as well as inside of yourself, and how that is demonstrated and helps orchestrate, so to speak, your life. And that's an individual thing.
Mm-hmm. You know what? I think that I often say have faith in the process, because everything has a process. The universe is ordered and has a process. So sometimes, when you hear the word faith, a lot of people think that it's exclusive to religion.
Right.
And that is a big part of faith. But as you said, faith in yourself. And for me, that comes down sometimes to intuition, especially women. That is something that we are born with. It's like an eerie extra sense that we have, this tuition, these feelings that we have. I remember when I first, was dating and married to my husband, he would say, "Oh, you got a feeling." And he was like, "Woo." But now he so respects that. And he'll say, "Well, babe, if you feel that way, then you need to trust it, because you're hardly ever wrong about that." So having faith in yourself and having faith in the order of the universe, you really do have, because you ever see people who are miserable and unhappy, or sometimes you hear that quote unquote angry Black woman, or it could be an angry any ethnicity. But I tell myself, don't get pulled into their anger. Don't get pulled into their misery, and don't judge them, because they just don't have faith in the order of the universe. They have no faith in how things really, really work. Because if you have faith in how things really, really work, you will understand that even there's an ebb and flow of life. After the rain comes the sun, and after trouble comes, good times, and after misery can come happiness, unless you do something to disrupt that flow.
Right.
And choose to stay in that misery or in that situation, or live in the past. And by living in the past, you actually drag it right into the future. So faith is a big one. And I'm really happy that they started with that, and that they really made it not just about religious faith, but about faith in the order of how things work, faith in the universe, faith in yourself, faith in your fellow man.
Yes.
Okay, and your fellow woman. And so, yeah, I think it's deeper than just looking at, the first week is about faith, and thinking that it's about, oh yeah, I believe in God. It's not just that. It is so much bigger. Faith in help, and one of the articles I read, faith in helping yourself to make healthy life choices. Okay. Healthy choices in your life, and that would cover your religious choices, that would cover your finance choices, that would cover your health choices, and your relationship choices. It's so big and so broad. Okay, so as you can see, I can talk now. I can go I can go on and not let somebody else get a word in edgewise. But
You're so right on.
So I was just going to say, stop me, Sharen, stop me.
You're so right on point, because that is true. Is that faith is so much more than just an organization, and it's for many of us, it is the center of who we are. So that is. I'm glad that they started with that. Now, family.
Which is the second week, family.
Family is setting aside and recognizing the importance of working on those relationships. And particularly when we're talking about helping women, we want to recognize the fact of who those women are. I mean, the thing I don't like about that holiday in May is that it points out one group of women. And I think most women, pretty much all women, have been mothers to someone in some way.
Even if they have never given birth.
Exactly. Giving birth does not make you a mother, nor does, giving the sperm over doesn't make you a father. But we have mothers that are so much more, aunts who take that position, neighbors who take that position, sisters and cousins, and on and on and on, teachers. There's so many women who become part of our family, and they need to be acknowledged, and they need to be supported. And that's what this initiative is sort of about, I would think, is being able to recognize that those women within our family, even those family members that are extended family, being able to support them when they need it.
Yeah. And you know what? I speak from a point of view of the African American family, and I don't have the facts or the experience or the knowledge of how it works in other ethnic groups. But we all have a mama, a big mama, a two mama. And and the list just goes on and on. And in my family, I had a mama and a mommy, and my grandmother was mommy. And so, and then my cousins had mama, big mama, two mama, and the list just went on and on. And even in my family, I know to this day some of the young men who were always coming home with my kids from school. When I see them somewhere, they kiss me on the cheek and say, "Hey, mom." And and some of them, my husband and I used to drink, and we was like, "Boy, we could tell your mom we claiming you for half the year. We're gonna put you on our income tax." And they would laugh, but it does indeed take a village to raise a child. And so for somebody to recognize this and recognize it's just not the birth mama, but it's aunts and cousins and in-laws and sister friends, and they use the word sister friend, which is a whole category that's always been there, but recently somebody put a name to it, a category to it. We've all had those, sister friends who help you raise your children, who will help you discipline your children, but who will go into a burning building and pull them out or you. And so, yeah, I don't know why it took until 2015 for someone to decide that, right? Game when this has been going on for so long. So kudos to the person who thought of it.
And two that you mentioned, I have so many young men and young women that call me mom and will call me and ask me, questions. This one particular young woman, from the moment her baby was born, anything that happened, she had me on speed dial. And I'll have to say, we raised a really awesome young man. he's 18, 19 now. And I mean, and what was impressive is that these young women are willing to take direction, because some of them aren't.
Yeah.
I know everything. No, don't tell me nothing. I know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And don't want to actually, come to someone with a little bit of experience. But your second point is, I have a young man that I'm thinking of right now. He paged me. I was in a meeting at the hospital that you guys probably have seen on what's called General Hospital. That hospital. I was on a meeting in that hospital with doctors, social workers, whatever. And I get this emergency page from this young man, and I rush out. I'm thinking something's, my house is on fire. One of my kids is hurt really bad. And it was just to remind me to bring home that Stouffer's, the vegetable lasagna, because we were out. Mom, don't forget. That's how comfortable he felt. And I should have claimed him on my taxes a couple of years.
Yeah. And you know what? BFFs, best friend, the best friend, and hopefully we have more than one, and they're a part of that group too, that are women who help women heal. And if you don't have people in the BFF category, I encourage you, make that one of your priorities. You need them. Yeah,
definitely. And you said that you're just speaking from the African American cultural perspective, but I've read some things and noticed some things and ancient times, even, that the process of birth, you would have what would be a midwife, but you would also have a community of women who would come and be there in that room, surrounding that mother, holding hands, reading, eating, talking, praying, just giving their energy, that positive energy that they have as women, to the process of this birth, and the same thing as we leave this earth. So it's really so much deeper than just, saying, family, because family is just way bigger than we actually can even encompass in our mind.
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
And
then when it comes to finances, I know we're going to move to that next. There are situations where the women that choose to work, make money with. I know for you, that's the case.
Pardon me, so I didn't hear the last part you said.
For you and I, that's the case, where the women choose to that we come into contact with through our financial endeavors end up being part of our family and our bigger extended family.
Right. Exactly. And on the list here where it talked about the financial part, and the financial aspect starts from the 15th through the 21st. So today's the very last day. And it's talking about getting our finances in order during this week as we focus on providing information and services from female professionals, including but not limited to the following. And most of these professions, when I read them off, are not something that women over the past have gravitated towards. But nowadays, that's absolutely changing. And it's so impressive to see. I mean, I don't know about you, Lisa, but I don't know how I passed math, but.
Well, when we got past adding, subtracting, and multiplying, I was in deep water, girl. I just gonna tell you, all those trig and even algebra. Oh my God! Look, I don't know, and I don't know how I got through. And new math, you can forget it. My children didn't have any help from me in new math. But I speaking of finances, it was my goal to make enough money to hire them a tutor.
Exactly. Hey, we were on the same page. Okay. Oh yeah, you have a tutor for this class. Oh no, definitely 2 tutors for that one. But the thing that they're talking about is estate planning, an estate planning attorney, financial planners, fugal mothers, champion couponers.
Wow.
I know some of them ladies, if they can go to the store and buy $500 worth of groceries and spend $40. Now, I mean, that is a genius of a woman.
Yes. For a while, my girlfriend Cherie was into that coupon, and I mean, she was rocking it. And my eyes were glazing over. I was like,
They used to have Coupon Wednesday, and then you get double coupons, and oh my goodness, yes, indeed.
Yes, I was surprised to see that in the list, but it's there.
I was too, but it's definitely an art and it's an education. Insurance agents, accountants, tax professionals, investment advisors, private bankers, realtors, lending professionals, credit worthiness advisors. So those are all professions that we need to have some knowledge of and have people who are around us that can guide us in that direction and understand those things. Because do you? I mean, I don't.
Not I know who do. But yeah, I was, and I kind of graded myself on this when I first saw it. And I was like, do I use or do I at least know a woman in each of these professions? Right. And honestly, yeah, I could put a woman's name. Well, private banker, no. I know somebody who used to be a banker, a woman who used to be a banker, but I could actually put a name to almost every single one of these. And more importantly, I realized that I have learned a lesson from most of them. Because I know frugal moms. I know the name that comes to mind, Corleen. I mean, this, and I used to think frugal was cheap, but from watching her, I realized that frugal is it's so much bigger. These women are never hardly broke. I mean, they're frugal and that they have money because they're frugal. And so they're just really on purpose and on point about how they spend their money. And so, estate planning. Yes. So my husband and I, we have a will. We've had one since the month we got married. And it has changed many times over the years as our situation has changed. It was one when we had little kids and we had to name guardians for them in case something that happened to us. And after they got grown, we had to change it to something differently. And then as the last one got grown, just last year, we changed it final time and had to go to the courthouse and file it. And we got this advice. The first woman who did a will for us, she gave us like a pattern, and she says, you can change it yourself. Just keep this pattern and just, change it as you see fit. And you don't ever have to pay for it again unless you want to. You just pay your filing fees. So as I looked down this list, I was really heartened. The person who does my tax professional is a lady. Oh, I love her. Tasha, I love you. Okay. So, I was really, it hardened to see that, yes, I do know women in these professions. And yes, I do use women, and either now or at some time in the past. And I do recognize that they have poured some value into my life.
Right, definitely. And how do we equate that though with healing? How does that come under healing?
You know what, Sharon, on the flip side, in the last couple of years, I've had 5 family members to die with no insurance. And trying to rally a family around gathering enough money to bury a loved one. There's so many emotions rolling around in that pot.
Yeah.
Good emotions, bad emotions. And at a time in your life when all you really need to worry about is grieving the loss of a loved one, having to deal with that is totally messed up. It's just messed up. So yeah, estate planning is absolutely critical. Estate planning. And I say it to my friends. I ask them, do you have a will? Do you have insurance? I mean, life insurance, health insurance? As far as, insurance agent, do you have, renter's insurance? Do you have homeowners insurance? And so lending professionals, is your credit good? If not, can you do some credit repair? It's critical. It's critical to healing, because I'm telling you, life is going to happen. You cannot stop life from happening. And, but what you can do is meet it in the best position that you can possibly be in at that moment. Okay. So if you can't afford $1 million policy, but you can get a $25,000 policy, get it. Okay. And if you can't afford somebody to do a will for you, you can do what I can't remember what they call it, where you write it out and you mail it to somebody and they don't open it and it's sealed. You can do something. There are templates online which you can use, or you can do like this says, find a woman in that profession who can help you with it if you can afford it. But the point is, yes, it is part of healing, because all of us has dealt with it in the past. I know I hardly know anybody who hasn't had a relative who have been caught in life without having planned some of their finances. And then the rest of the family had to rally around, and sometimes friends had to rally around and try to make up that deficit. So yes, it is a part of it. And I'm glad they put it in here, because it's a conversation we need to have more often. I'm sorry. I know people who have the money to turn it up every weekend and go party and go and buy new clothes and celebrate every situation, but think or tell themselves they don't have the money for financial planning, or the money for insurance, or the money for, some of these things that are listed on this list. And so the conversation needs to be out there. It really needs to be out there. We need to be responsible adults. Okay. We need to be responsible adults. And if we have kids, we definitely need to be responsible, because if you love your kids, don't let them be at the mercy of the courts.
Right.
Let them be at the mercy of the courts.
So often we're seeing people who are having to do the GoFundMe things to try to take care of situations that come up in life, unfortunately. And that's unfair to the people that are involved, particularly children. And it is a part of healing. If you're in that situation, you can turn that around. You can definitely turn that around. Go to a professional that can give you a plan, set it out for you, how you can make these changes and do it. It might take some, giving up some, turning it up, this weekend, next weekend, or maybe for the next couple of months, but it's worth it to have that peace of mind for yourself and your family.
And if you're the person who's listening who says, well, I don't turn it up, I don't party. It could be anywhere. I remember the first time I read the book Rich Dad Poor Dad, and he called it latte money, I think. One of those, or it might have been somebody else. Can't think of his name. It's this, what do you spend little bitty amounts of money on that over time adds up? And I know me, I'm a Starbucks person. So it could be your coffee money, or it could be your cigarette money, or it could be your nail money, because I hate to paint my own nails. I need a manicure now. It could be, your shoe or your purse money. It could be anything where you have to really take a good, honest, hard look at where your money is going, and to find the money to get your finances in order. And, there might be somebody out there who really feels like there's nothing left. I just don't have that. Well, then it can go on your list. It can go on your life list, your bucket list, and it can go at the top as a priority, that as your situation changes, you can do something. And in the meantime, like I said, a wheel is something that you can find a template online. Okay. There is some groups out there who offer their services based on a sliding fee according to how much you make. And so if you make it part of your priority, I believe that when you're ready and serious about it, the resources will come from somewhere. But because you think that you can't afford it, you think it's not a good time, then you don't look for the resources and you don't find them. So I would encourage you to just decide to look for the resources. If you feel that I would love to do it, but I just don't have the resources to do it, and see what's available out there. There's so much out there that we don't know about. We just assume that because we don't have money in the bank right now, that we can't do certain things. And that's often not true. It's often not true.
So it's definitely the case. So the next one is freedom from past abuse.
Oh my goodness, yes. And we actually touched on this in one of our broadcasts, the one that
actually
the one that YouTube decided had so much value that they promoted it.
Yeah.
And so the situation is that you might become a victim of abuse through no fault of your own. But remaining a victim is a choice. It's just a choice. Yes, there are avenues you have to go through to heal. And I don't think we have enough time to go through all of them. Sharen is a better person to give input on that since she's been in the profession. I'm just looking at it from this side of life. Call it a life wisdom, motherly wisdom, sister friend wisdom. I've been in it, a lot of it, and I've seen it, a lot of it happening to other people. And I know this, that you know what, the person who abused you is still doing it if you don't find a way to get past it, to move forward. So freedom from past abuse. Think about that. Think about how they arranged those words. That's what caught me. Out of this whole thing, this caught me. Freedom from past abuse. You would think that since they admitting it was past, that there would be no problem. But for women, sometimes it's really hard for us to let go. It feels really good to keep feeling victimized. And we want somebody to acknowledge that we were a victim, and we want to keep being acknowledged. It makes us feel a little better. But the point is, freedom from past abuse is a call to action to find a way to move past it, because the word is past. Leave it in the past, find a way to leave it there. No, you're never going to forget it, but you can use it as a platform to take you to something better, to take you to build a better you. And so that's why I thought out of all of these, that was the most powerful one for me. How they worded it, I thought was so powerful.
Well, and I guess because of working in the field, I saw that past abuse differently, because what I know from working in the field is that while you're in the midst of the abuse, you're just holding on. You're just dealing with life. You're just coping. You're just trying to be. Oftentimes after that, you having kids, you have a family, you're trying to build a life. And honestly, one of the things that we have found over the years is that most women who were abused as children, who were raped, or any other kinds of horrific kinds of abuse, they find themselves actually dealing with it when it happens to their daughter or their niece. So we are talking about 20, 30 years later, usually, before they even recognize the fact that this was, and at that point, it's what's called post-traumatic stress disorder, because it is in the past, but that trauma is now bringing itself to the forefront. Because you've had to get through it, you had to put it in the background. And get used to wearing that face and being in that same room with that same person. I remember something that Oprah said that really brought up a whole lot of stuff in one of my groups one day, is that she had said that she was in her 30s, 35, almost 40, had her TV show and everything, and happened to be home with her family for a weekend or a holiday or something. And you know how we gather in the kitchen and everybody's gets together and start cooking breakfast. And she said she realized at that moment that she was standing there cooking eggs and asking her abuser, "How do you want your eggs?" And it just at that moment became very clear to her, this is not normal, because it had not been dealt with. She had not had to deal with it because she had not been around the person to the extent that it affected her. Secondly, as I said, to get through it, she had to put it behind her. And to go on and move on with her life, she had to put it behind her. But at some point, that twig breaks. And that's when you start seeing people coming into counseling for what's now called post-traumatic stress disorder, because it is now affecting their life. And then often people say, how is it all these years? It is now affecting their life. Very interesting.
You're the pet professional and you can give professional advice. My only advice is find some resources.
Yeah.
Don't try to keep it buried. Now, some people bury it and like you said, it'll come out. But some people live in it. It's in every conversation. It's like a crown. They're called to fame. And neither one of those options are healthy.
Yeah, that's why I drink. That's why I beat my kids. That's why I can't keep a job. All those things can become an excuse. But at that point, you do have choices to decide.
Yes, find some resources to deal with it, because neither one of those options are healthy. One of them, it's going to come up, and the other one, you never buried it. It's worn like a crown, and it's an excuse. It's your reason for why everything in your life goes wrong. And so, yeah, as I said, lived through it, seen some people that I care about go through it, and I've seen both sides of it. And it's never an easy fix. It's never even an easy identity. I mean, maybe somebody else can identify it before you do.
Yeah.
But resources. One thing I will say on this show is we keep saying, get some help. Almost every single show, it's like, get some help. Okay. Yeah. Which is back to our original theme, women helping women heal.
Exactly. Yeah. And sometimes that it takes a good friend to say, you've been suffering with this far too long. You deserve to feel better.
You deserve to heal. Yeah, you do.
Wow. I can put a call to action on this one today.
Go ahead. What's the call to action?
I had actually started working on about a year ago.
Uh-huh.
Let me put it up here. They changed the way this agenda works since the last time I used it. So I'm like, what? SOS, support our sisters. And that's what this is about. Women helping women. And it's about supporting that woman in business, supporting that woman in child rearing, supporting that woman in her career, in her marriage, in whatever her plans are, whatever her drive for her life is, supporting her in how she needs to be supported.
Yeah, and everybody is different. If you were in a situation and you needed support one way, it is easy to assume that somebody else would need the support the same way, and it's absolutely not true. Everybody's individual.
Yeah.
So you have to ask. You have to talk, communicate.
Definitely. Wow.
Look at us.
It got a little heavier than we thought.
Yeah, but hey.
But we can tackle it, huh, Lisa?
Every time we think we have something that's a little too heavy, we get to the other end of it and we be like, wow. We absolutely made it through. And I think it was good information. It was good information for me. It was good reminders in some areas. And it was a call to action in other areas for me, because under no circumstances do I have all of this down pat. There's so yeah, definitely need to put a little ticky mark by some of these things as areas where I can tighten up and improve. Yeah.
And we all can. We always are growing and learning and evolving. It's not, we never get to the top of the mountain and say, okay, I'm done. That's not what life is about. There's always something that can be improved upon, and areas that, particularly, the financial area, and paying more attention to encouraging professional women in those professions, because they're not encouraged to be there. They're looked at funny. They're like, why are you here? Honestly, because it's a man's gender. It's a man's, not gender, whatever. It's a man's area of expertise. So it's not a comfortable position to be there. So we have to, give them a little nudge. I know even mental health, and particularly working in domestic violence, I was very ostracized when I first started working, particularly with the men. It was like from both sides, from the women and from the men. They were not like, you're not supposed to be doing that. So, we have to encourage our women, our girls, to go and be whatever they want to be, and how they want to be. I had posted something on a friend of mine had made this really long statement. I had posted it on Coast to Coast, and she was saying, speaking towards the Me Too movement,
Mm-hmm.
and so she was the end of it. She was saying that hashtag Me Too. We want to change it to hashtag Not Me.
Oh,
And
wow.
her name is SharenD. I put it on this page, so you can check it out. I just thought what she said was just so right on point with what we were talking about today. So I posted that for her. She's a pretty fabulous lady. So, Lisa,
Yes, Sharon.
have we come to a successful end of another episode of Coast to Coast Beauty?
It looks like we have. And every time we get on, we think, oh, wow, we'll probably end early because, we don't come on with, a script, just a few bullet points that we want to cover. And we always think, oh, we'll probably end early, but we never do. We always seem to find some input and some wisdom, and sometimes even questions that are pertinent to the topic. And here we are at the end, almost another hour. That's pretty powerful.
We have so much fun together.
Yes, we do. And so for the people who watch the replay, we know most of our viewers watch the replay. Please leave a comment and tell us what you think. If you have any thoughts or comments or questions about what we covered, or even any suggestions on future topics for us to discuss, we would totally appreciate it. Thank you. All right. So now, Miss Sharen, are you going to lead us out?
All right. Well, I am Sharen Davis on the West Coast.
And I am Lisa Washington on the East Coast. And together we are
Coast
to Coast Beauty.
And we are going to
kiss you out.
out.